Welcome friends, welcome back to Sunday Morning and the Old Cookbook Show. Today we're going to do a recipe out of a cookbook sent in by one of our viewers. And I really enjoy when a box arrives and it's filled with old cookbooks because I love going through them and seeing all of the different recipes and what people were going through in different regions around North America and the world for that matter. So today we're going to do something out of the Prince Edward Island Home Recipes for Home and Country. Now this was published in 1943, so we are in the middle of World War II. And all of the recipes in here have a real make-do attitude. They really do show you that people are trying to do more with less in order to contribute to the war effort here on the home front. So the first thing in, I'm going to put in this egg. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of a whisk just to break it up some. Next in is sour cream. And try to use the best sour cream that you can since it is the major flavor component. If you don't have sour cream, you could probably use plain yogurt as well. Any sort of fermented milk product. I mean, this recipe shares a lot in common with buttermilk pies. In fact, there's a buttermilk pie on this page right below it. So we'll whisk those together. We'll add a little bit of salt and some brown sugar. And we'll just keep whisking to bring this all together. Shouldn't take much. Now the next ingredient that I put in is super vague, as you would expect from a recipe book in this time period. It just says spices. Doesn't say how much or which ones, doesn't give you any information. Spices, which I think is great because it actually allows the home cook to put in whatever they want or whatever they have or whatever they desire, which is something that I think a lot of contemporary recipes from 2020 don't do. They're very prescriptive and they let you know that you have to do it a certain way. I don't like to cook that way. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I'm going to put in allspice, which isn't a spice mix. It is just from one allspice berry, but it has the flavor of a bunch of different spices. I kind of like what it brings to the party. You could put in cinnamon, you could put in nutmeg, you could put in pumpkin pie spice if you wanted to. I think all of those would work. So we'll just whisk that in, and the next thing, raisins, and these have been floured as instructed in the recipe. I have a 9-inch shallow dish pie crust here, and this is an all butter pie crust. I will link to the recipe below. And I've chose 9-inch because in this time period that seems to be the size of the pie they're making, and there certainly isn't a lot of filling here. So we're going to pour this in. I've got the oven preheated. There are no directions for baking this other than bake until done. So I'm going to put this in the oven. I've got it set to 425 just to get the crust around the outside going. And then I'm going to turn it down and cook it like I would any custard pie. Hey, Jules.
Hey, Glenn. Hey, friends. There's raisins in there.
There's
Glenn.
a lot of raisins
Are
in
you
that.
going to be okay with that? You're not really a raisins kind of...
I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be
So what have
okay.
you got? It looks kind of like a butter tart. Like
It does.
Like looking...
It does kind of look like a butter tart, but it is a sour cream pie.
And a classic Canadian argument is whether there's raisins
Raisins or
in butter tarts.
yeah.
So I wonder if this has a similar argument.
Well, in 2020, I just looked it up, and there are lots of sour cream raisin pies, but they're all billed as Southern, so Southern United States. And PEI is pretty far from the Southern United
It
States
is?
in 1943. So,
It's a really great raisin pie. Now you have to like raisin pie. Raisin pie tends to be very rich. Mm-hmm. And so I would only be able to eat a small bit of this pie because I find raisin pie to be way too much for me.
so the raisin flavor is overwhelmingly the flavor.
Raisin.
Raisin.
Oh, yeah.
You don't really seem to get too much of a tang from the sour cream, just a little bit.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the back here and eat just the filling
Just the
without the
filling?
raisin. Yeah, just take that raisin out, just to see. Well, I'd say if you didn't have enough raisins, this would still be a rockin' pie
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
a nice filling. You could throw rhubarb in with that. You could throw a lot of different fruits in with that, depending upon whether you wanted it savory or sweet. It's just like that butter tart rhubarb pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I've seen instead of raisins, they put a lemon flavoring in sour cream pies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dates. You could put in dates. You could put in. I mean, this is.
It's a sweet base that sticks together, and you can put almost any type of fruit into it, as long as it's not too wet, I would guess. So, you've got lots of options. Do you want a little tart?
Tart.
Throw in some lemony. You want something a little sweeter?
I think the rhubarb idea is really good because it would add a foil to the sweetness.
Yes.
Because if you put in something too sweet, like the raisins, I think would be cloyingly sweet by the time I finish that slice of pie.
Yes.
It already is, but I still want to go back and get more. But I think having rhubarb would balance that out.
Yeah, you may need to make more filling if there's less. But
Well,
who knows?
and-
I don't know. You'd have to play with it. You can't go wrong. Here's the thing. You can't go wrong.
No, you
It's
can't.
pie.
You can't go wrong. It is pie, and one of the things we only have one
Small pie.
of these small glass pie plates. We've got a couple of tin ones, which I wouldn't bring out and use on camera because they're really beat up. But we have this one, and we have a dozen 9.5-inch deep dish ones.
Big pies.
I am now very enamored with this pie size.
Because we can finish it in a couple days.
You can finish it in a couple of days, and instead of making 1 or 2 really big pies for a family gathering, you could make 5 or 6 little pies, and everybody gets a little taste of everything. So another thing that I thought was really funny on this page is there's an ad for Avonlea Lodge in Cavendish Beach, Prince Edward Island, and I thought to myself, isn't there some little redheaded girl that lives in Avonlea?
Thanks for that.
Yeah, she was on the road to Avonlea or something. So
When was that book written?
this was 1943, so we're in the middle of World War II.
Yeah, but I don't know when not that book. When was,
Lucy Maud Montgomery.
That was before
that
then.
was
So
that
that
was
was
1800s.
So it's definitely
Yeah.
this is a result. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that the end of that sour cream pie is a winner. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.